And Princess of Wales have rolled up their sleeves to give back to UK communities following King Charles's coronation. Joined by their children, it marked an important milestone for Prince Louis in particular.
Prince Louis of Wales, the youngest son of William and Catherine, was born into privilege, legacy, and a life shaped by royal tradition. Growing up with cameras, ceremonies, and the weight of the monarchy on his shoulders, few could imagine the quiet influence he now holds. In a surprising move, he inherited a private cottage at Balmoral, with Prince William stepping in to secure it while Queen Camilla was left out entirely. So, how did this happen? And what does it reveal about loyalty, power, and the future of the royal family? Prince Louis's inheritance. When Queen Elizabeth chose to leave a cottage within the sprawling grounds of Balmoral to Prince Louis, it was far more than a simple act of generosity. Balmoral is not just a castle, it is a sanctuary, a hidden world where the British royal family can step away from the endless glare of cameras and the weight of public expectation. The estate is vast, dotted with multiple residences ranging from the grand and historic Craigowyn Lodge, often used by the Queen herself, to smaller, intimate cottages meant for close family and long-trusted friends. In this context, the gift of a Balmoral cottage is far more than bricks and mortar. It is a symbol of trust, affection, and belonging, an invitation into the private heartbeat of the monarchy. In a family as large and complicated as the Windsors, where grandchildren, great-grandchildren, senior royals, and a newly installed queen consort all jostle for attention and roles, such a gesture carries enormous weight. By leaving this property to Louis, Elizabeth was sending a personal message that transcended ceremony or protocol. It was a quiet declaration that he holds a special place in her eyes, not because of public duties, media appearances, or royal titles, but because of the qualities she values most: loyalty, family devotion, and a capacity for discretion. In the subtle language of royalty, wills often speak louder than speeches, and this inheritance was Elizabeth's way of saying that Louis is seen, trusted, and appreciated in a family where private acknowledgement is rare and precious. Beyond its sentimental value, the gift of Balmoral Cottage hints at Prince Louis's potential future within the royal family. Though still very young, the Queen's choice signals her recognition of his close family ties and his growing importance in the monarchy's inner circle. While his older siblings navigate public duties and media attention, Louis is being quietly introduced to the private spaces that truly shape royal life. Places where loyalty, trust, and family bonds are nurtured away from the public eye. Nestled within the serene and protected grounds of Balmoral, the cottage is more than just a home. It is a gateway to mentorship, guidance, and a legacy that prepares him for the responsibilities and traditions he may one day uphold. In essence, this inheritance tells us as much about the Queen as it does about Louis. It reflects Elizabeth's understanding of her family, her ability to recognize qualities worth nurturing, and her intention to quietly shape the next generation of royals. The gift of Balmoral's cottage to Prince Louis is not simply a transfer of property. It is a statement of trust, love, and the promise of a meaningful place in the heart of the monarchy. The late Queen Elizabeth left the precious gift of a Balmoral cottage to Prince Louis. But why was it not passed to the current Queen consort? Could there be a deeper motive behind this decision? And what message did the Queen intend to leave behind with this act? Let's uncover the details. The silent exclusion. Although Camilla holds the official title of Queen Consort, she was noticeably excluded from Queen Elizabeth's personal inheritance at Balmoral, a decision that immediately sparked curiosity among royal observers. On the surface, such omissions might appear routine, but in the private world of the monarchy, every gift, gesture, or deliberate exclusion carries profound meaning. Queen Elizabeth's choices were rarely guided by protocol or public expectation. Instead, they reflected her personal judgment, her understanding of loyalty, and her deep sense of family values. this was never simply about property. By choosing to leave certain members out, she sent a quiet but unmistakable message of favor, trust, and approval, revealing who she truly valued within her family circle. By leaving the Balmoral Cottage to Prince Louis while excluding Camilla, the late Queen Elizabeth sent a clear and unmistakable message about her personal preferences. In the royal family, public titles, ceremonial rank, and official authority do not always guarantee private approval or affection. While Camilla holds the high-profile position of Queen Consort, that alone could not secure the Queen's personal endorsement in such an intimate family matter. This deliberate omission reveals the hidden layers of trust, loyalty, and influence that shape life behind palace walls. For Elizabeth, discretion, steadfast loyalty, and close personal bonds were far more significant than formal rank, and her private decisions consistently reflected those deeply held values. This moment reveals a deeper truth about the royal family. Not everything is as it appears. The monarchy is often seen as a world of strict rules, titles, and ceremonial duties. But behind closed doors, emotional bonds and personal relationships shape who truly holds influence. Gifts, estates, and private properties like Balmoral are far more than material possessions. They are powerful symbols of trust, loyalty, and approval. By leaving this special inheritance to Prince Louis, while excluding Queen Consort Camilla, Queen Elizabeth was sending a clear message. She was quietly signaling who she valued most, who had earned her trust, and who she believed would uphold the family's private traditions, loyalties, and the core values of the monarchy. Camilla's absence from the Balmoral inheritance does not reduce her official role as Queen Consort, but it reveals the late Queen Elizabeth's remarkable ability to balance duty with personal judgment. Each decision, whether a gift, a role, or even a subtle exclusion, reflected how she truly viewed her family, assessed character, and quietly determined who belonged in the monarchy's inner circle. In a world fixated on public titles, appearances, and ceremonies, this moment is a striking reminder that real favor and influence within the royal family are measured not by what is displayed, but by what is privately given or withheld. The current Queen Consort was excluded from the precious gift of Balmoral Castle by the late Queen Elizabeth. But is Balmoral truly a gift of extraordinary value? What makes the estate so significant? Now, let's explore the royal family's hidden sanctuary, the Balmoral Castle. Balmoral Castle, nestled in the wild and rugged beauty of Aberdeenshire, Scotland, is far more than just a historic royal residence. Spanning nearly 50,000 acres of dense forests, rolling moors, sparkling rivers, and tranquil hills, the estate feels like a world apart, untouched by city life. Here, the air is fresh, the pace unhurried, and the pressures of public duty fade into the distance. For generations, the British royal family has retreated to Balmoral not for ceremony or spectacle, but to relax, reconnect, and simply breathe, finding privacy and peace amid Scotland's majestic landscapes. Unlike Buckingham Palace in London or Windsor Castle in England, Balmoral is not owned by the state. It does not belong to the government or the public. Instead, it is privately owned by the monarch. This makes it very different from other royal residences. Balmoral was purchased in 1852 by Queen Victoria and Prince Albert using their own money. They fell in love with the Scottish Highlands and wanted a home where they could raise their family away from the pressures of court life. Since then, the estate has remained in the personal possession of the reigning monarch, passed down from one sovereign to the next. Private ownership makes Balmoral unlike any other royal estate. Here, choices are guided not by ministers, advisors, or public opinion, but by personal feelings and family bonds. Who stays in each cottage, who is invited for long summer visits, and who is entrusted with part of the estate is never just a matter of practicality. These decisions carry deep emotional weight, reflecting closeness, trust, and genuine affection. At Balmoral, every gift and invitation quietly reveals the Queen's private priorities and loyalties. For the royal family, Balmoral is a sanctuary. It is where children run freely across fields, where family dinners feel less formal, and where the monarch can set aside the crown for a moment. Cameras are kept at a distance. Public speeches are replaced with quiet walks and private conversations. In this setting, relationships grow stronger, and true loyalties are revealed. Because of this, any decision involving Balmoral carries powerful meaning. When a property on the estate is given to someone, it is not simply about land or a building. It is a sign that the person belongs within the most private circle of the royal family. It says, without public announcement, that they are trusted and valued. In a family where so much is performed on the world stage, Balmoral remains the one place where feelings are expressed quietly but clearly, through actions rather than words. Beyond Balmoral Castle being a cherished sanctuary closely tied to the closest members of the royal family, what does gifting it to Prince Louis really signify? Could it be a way of officially welcoming him into the monarchy's inner circle? Let's find out. Balmoral and family values. Balmoral is not simply a holiday home where the royal family escapes for fresh air and quiet days. It is something far deeper than that. Hidden among the hills and forests of Scotland, Balmoral is where the true spirit of the monarchy is quietly shaped and passed from one generation to the next. Away from cameras, formal ceremonies, and the strict rules of palace life, it becomes a living classroom for young royals. When Prince Louis receives property within the Balmoral estate, he is not just being handed a building. He is being welcomed into a private world where traditions are not explained in speeches, but learned through experience. At Balmoral, royal children see how the family interacts when no one is watching. They observe how elders speak about duty, how respect is shown, and how loyalty is demonstrated not with grand gestures, but with steady commitment. It is here that the monarchy's unwritten rules are absorbed naturally. The estate itself represents values that Queen Elizabeth treasured deeply. Discretion is one of them. At Balmoral, privacy is protected. Conversations remain within its walls. Loyalty is another. Family members who are invited back year after year are those who have proven they can be trusted. And perhaps most important of all is unity. Despite differences, Balmoral has long been a place where the family gathers as one, strengthening bonds that must hold firm under public pressure. For Louis, inheriting a cottage there signals that he is being prepared, even at a young age, for something meaningful. It places him in an environment where responsibility is taught gently but clearly. He will grow up understanding that royal life is not only about titles and appearances. It is about service, consistency, and quiet strength. Being part of Balmoral's inner circle allows him to learn these lessons in a grounded way, surrounded by nature and family rather than flashing cameras. In this light, the inheritance is about character just as much as it is about property. It reflects trust in the kind of person Louis may become. It suggests that Queen Elizabeth saw the importance of shaping the next generation not only through public duties, but through private guidance. Balmoral offers space to grow without constant scrutiny, giving Louis the chance to develop confidence and resilience while staying connected to ordinary family life. Ultimately, this gift prepares him for a future that may carry greater responsibility. It allows him to understand the weight of the crown while still enjoying the simplicity of childhood, creating a balance that could define his role in the monarchy for years to come. Gifting Prince Louis Balmoral Castle is a formal way of welcoming him into the monarchy's inner circle. But what position does he truly hold within the royal family? Is there a deeper history or personal connection that explains why he received such a precious gift? Now let's unravel the story of a young royal bridging centuries of tradition. Prince Louis of Wales. Prince Louis of Wales, born on April 23, 2018, entered the world surrounded by history, tradition, and enormous expectation. As the youngest child of Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, he was born into one of the most closely watched families on earth. From his very first public appearance on the steps of the hospital, he became part of a story that stretches back centuries. Yet behind the formal titles and global attention is a young boy growing up within a modern royal family, trying to balance duty with normal childhood moments. Louis is also a grandson of King Charles III and the late Diana, Princess of Wales, two figures who have shaped the monarchy in very different but powerful ways. Through them, he inherits a legacy filled with responsibility, public service, and emotional connection to the people. As the third child in his family, he currently stands fourth in line to the British throne. Ahead of him are his father, Prince William, and his two older siblings, Prince George and Princess Charlotte. This position places him close enough to the crown to carry significance, yet far enough to allow him space to grow without the immediate pressure of becoming king one day. Even at a young age, Louis has already stepped onto the royal stage. In 2022, he appeared at the Platinum Jubilee celebrations of Queen Elizabeth II, marking her 70 years on the throne. During those historic events, the world caught glimpses of his personality. His expressions, reactions, and youthful energy made headlines, reminding people that behind the royal formality is still a child learning how to navigate public life. These appearances signaled the beginning of his gradual introduction to royal duties, carefully guided by his parents. Louis's place in the line of succession also reflects how the monarchy has changed with the times. In the past, royal rulers favored sons over daughters, even if the daughter was older. However, the Perth Agreement reformed this system, introducing absolute primogeniture. This means the throne now passes based on birth order, not gender. Because of this change, Louis is the first British prince to rank behind an older sister. Princess Charlotte remains ahead of him in the line of succession simply because she was born first. This shift highlights how tradition and modern values now work together in shaping the monarchy's future. In many ways, Prince Louis represents a bridge between the past and the present. He carries centuries of royal heritage, yet he is growing up in a monarchy that is adapting to a changing world. His journey, still in its earliest chapters, may quietly influence how the next generation understands duty, equality, and service. Prince Louis has participated in major royal events since the time of Queen Elizabeth, and being the first British prince to rank behind an elder sister reflects why he received the Balmoral gift. But how will this precious inheritance be preserved for the young royal? Let's find out. Securing Louis's inheritance. When Queen Elizabeth passed away, a quiet but important shift took place behind the scenes of the monarchy. Balmoral, the deeply personal Scottish estate she had cherished for decades, no longer belonged to her. As is tradition, ownership passed directly to her eldest son, who became King Charles III. With that transition, the control of Balmoral, including its houses and cottages, came under his authority. Every decision about the estate now required his approval, turning private wishes into matters that needed careful handling. This change mattered greatly when it came to Prince Louis and the cottage Queen Elizabeth had chosen for him. Although the gift reflected her personal intentions, it still had to be formally recognized under the new king's leadership. In royal life, even heartfelt gestures must pass through layers of structure and senior agreement. For Louis's inheritance to move forward smoothly, it needed quiet coordination among the family's most senior members. This is where Prince William took decisive action. As Prince of Wales and the future king, he did not remain a silent observer. He stepped in personally to ensure that his son's Balmoral inheritance was honored smoothly and without dispute. His approach was quiet and measured, avoiding drama while making a powerful statement. More than a father protecting his child, William signaled his support for the next generation of royals who embraced discretion, loyalty, and a sense of duty. Through this careful guidance, he reinforced the values that will shape Prince Louis and the monarchy's future. The British monarchy, despite its grandeur, has never been immune to internal strains, public disagreements, and shifting family alliances. Tensions within the royal household have sometimes spilled into public view, showing that even kings and princes face conflict behind closed doors. Against this backdrop, Prince William's decision to secure Prince Louis's Balmoral inheritance carried far more than practical importance. It ensured that the legal and ceremonial process was properly observed, but it also sent a powerful message. By safeguarding the gift, William affirmed that Louis is firmly placed within the family's inner circle, trusted, valued, and prepared for the responsibilities of royal life. By protecting this gift, William sent a quiet message about the kind of monarchy he hopes to shape in the future. It suggested that those who uphold tradition without seeking constant attention will be supported. It signaled that stability and unity remain priorities for the next generation of leadership. In many ways, this moment was less about a cottage and more about direction. It showed how influence is exercised behind palace doors and how future priorities are quietly established. Through this careful intervention, William reinforced both his son's position and his own vision for a monarchy grounded in loyalty, continuity, and thoughtful leadership. But what ripple effects does this gift have within the royal circle? Could it help shape the future of the throne? Let's uncover the details. Louis's role in the monarchy's future. Prince Louis's inheritance is not just a charming family gift or a simple transfer of property. It is part of a much larger and quieter transformation taking place within the monarchy itself. Behind the public ceremonies, balcony waves, and state events, the royal family is going through a period of emotional and structural change. The passing of Queen Elizabeth marked the end of one long and steady era. Now, under King Charles, a new chapter is unfolding, and the inner circle of the monarchy is slowly being reshaped. With growing concerns about King Charles's health, Prince William has increasingly stepped forward. Though still Prince of Wales, he is already taking on many of the duties and responsibilities that once rested fully on his father's shoulders. His role is expanding, not only in public appearances, but also in private decision-making. He is helping define who will stand closest to the crown in the years ahead. In many ways, William is quietly building the team that will support the monarchy's future. Certain family members have clearly become central to this evolving structure. Prince Edward and Sophie, known for their steady dedication and low-profile service, are playing larger roles. They represent reliability and loyalty, qualities the monarchy deeply values. Other trusted relatives are also being drawn into meaningful responsibilities, forming a tighter, more focused inner circle built on duty rather than drama. At the same time, others remain on the edges. Prince Harry and Meghan stepped back from official royal life and built a new path abroad. Prince Andrew has faced significant public controversy, limiting his role within the family. Even Queen Camilla, despite her official title, occupies a complex space that blends public duty with private dynamics. These shifts are not always openly discussed, but they shape how influence and trust are distributed behind palace walls. Within this changing landscape, Balmoral Cottage carries powerful meaning. It is not simply a building tucked away in the Scottish countryside. Balmoral itself has always been deeply personal to the royal family, a place where titles fade and family bonds take center stage. To receive property, there is to be welcomed into the emotional heart of the monarchy. It signals trust. It reflects approval. It marks someone as part of the core, not the sidelines. For Prince Louis, this inheritance serves as a quiet introduction to a future role. Though still young, he is being positioned within a tradition that values loyalty, discretion, and unity. The cottage symbolizes more than comfort or privilege. It suggests preparation. It hints at a future in which Louis may support his father and siblings, helping to maintain the stability of the monarchy from within. In this sense, the gift is more than property. It is a statement, It signals the passing of the torch to a new generation, shows the monarchy adapting quietly to modern times, and underscores the importance of loyalty, discretion, and private tradition. Through this gesture, the royal family communicates continuity, trust, and the careful balance between change and heritage. So, what do you think about Prince Louis inheriting Balmoral? Could this gift influence the monarchy's future? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.